What's up, everybody? How we looking? Coach Max here, back with some more Fire Emblem 3 houses. Last time, we made our way to the Garreg Mach Monastery and have officially been named the newest professor on campus, and we've been given our first mission by the headmistress, the Archbishop Lady Rhea, to go meet and talk with the students that we will eventually be in charge of. That's pretty much going to be the meat of this update, so let's get right to it. As soon as I find my control, there we go. Fix the camera back to where to go. We're also going to be exploring the monastery in general just to kind of see where all we can go. And basically just getting the lay of the land. This is, after all, going to be our home base for quite a while, as evidenced by this nice tutorial that just came up, the minimap. The minimap in the upper right corner of the screen shows your current location, the locations of important people, the direction to quest givers, and more. Zoom or change the map view with the ZR button, which we will actually do. I did do a little bit of tinkering with options and set a few things here. So if we do a little bit of tinkering, we can actually see everything. All that stuff in black, we're going to explore as much of that as possible, but we're also going to be talking to as many people as possible, as evidenced by all the speech bubbles we can see. So let's take our stack of things. Now, the quest that we do have does say we only need to talk to the house leaders, but I want to meet all of these students. After all, you never know who might actually be under my care at some point. So let's see. It doesn't seem like we can actually talk to them. These are just speech bubbles that we can tell, but it does mention some students that we can see. These do not appear to be important people. Anybody who's important is going to have a red bubble, I believe. So let's seek these people out, shall we? Not much going over here. Oh. And we have our first little cutscene of exploring. I guess when you find a new spot, you get a nice little cutscene to show it off a little bit. We can see Edelgard right there. We're not going to talk to her just yet, though. Okay, so these are just more minor students just talking. It is kind of good to see these minor students. It kind of fleshes out the world just a little bit. And let's see, we have a gatekeeper. Oh, this is someone we can talk to.
Huh?
Greetings! You must be the new professor. What a pleasure. As for me, my job is to stand here at this glorious entrance and leisurely watch over the comings and goings of everyone. Make folks smile, you know? And by that, I mean to vigilantly guard this entrance with my very life. No levity whatsoever. As of now, nothing to report.
Okay, you're cool. This guy thinks we're a new student. Well, we don't know how old we are.
Yes.
So who knows? Now, kind of want to see more of the map. Looks like we need to go up this corridor. Yes, we do. To find more people to talk to. What's over here? Ah! And we are in the Officers' Academy proper. After all, Garreg Mach Monastery has a lot of places within it, and we can see a lot more students here. So let's see who else we can talk to. Now, this is actually a little thing that a few people have noted as kind of an injustice, and I am inclined to agree. I can't pet this cat. Why can't I pet this cat? It would just be a nice little bit of atmosphere, just something to make me feel good. I mean, in Watch Dogs 2, we could pet the dogs, and there were even plenty of dialogue options that go with that. Okay, yes, now I'm being pedantic now. Let's move on. So there is Dimitri right there. Again, we're going to talk to the house leaders last. I want to take this time to explore and see what all is everywhere. Hey, here's someone we can talk to. This is the homeroom of the Black Eagles. Who are you?
This is the classroom of the Black Eagle House, which is for students from the Adrestian Empire. Our house leader is Princess Edelgard. There are many other nobles among our ranks as well.
Nice little bit of world building there, just to kind of see. Yeah, we've spotted more students. We spotted all kinds of students. I think we spotted almost every student that this place has. Let's see. Ah, here's some more people we can talk to, and these are actual students.
What? I don't talk to strangers.
Sorry about that.
Bernadetta, this is no stranger. Our house leader owes this person a great debt. Is that not right?
I wouldn't say it go that far. We kind of work together.
I am Ferdinand von Eyre, legitimate son of the Eyre family, the Empire's foremost house.
Okay, quick question for those of you who are a little bit better with linguistics. Is that an actual alternate pronunciation of this word as it's spelt? Or this name, I should say? Or was this just kind of a weird mistake by the localization team? Because most people will look at this and say, you know, Aegir or Aegir or Aegir. Never heard it pronounced Aegir like that, kind of like the town in Scotland. I don't know. Someone in the comment section, if you happen to spot this, let me know. I'm just kind of curious about this.
Are you going to join our class? I look forward to getting better acquainted with you.
Maybe. Let's see. Hey, Kaspar and Linhardt.
Is it true that you saved Edelgard? That's incredible.
Oh, we worked together. Though, okay, yeah, I did technically save her. But that wasn't all me. But you don't need to know that.
The name's Kaspar, by the way. Pleased to meet you.
Linhardt, goodbye.
More like good night.
Sheesh, Linhardt. How'd you get into the academy with those manners? So, are you a student here too? Maybe we'll be in the same class.
Let's see, is there anything on this board worth noticing? No prompt to examine, so can't really do anything. Can we go around here behind this desk? Looks like we can. That might be useful for something later. I'm guessing that's where we're going to be teaching. Can't do anything with this fire. And this is Hubert and Petra, I believe.
I am Hubert, a humble servant of Lady Edelgard. I heard you came to the aid of Her Highness. You have my most sincere thanks.
Cool.
This is Petra. She has come on Bridget to study in the Empire. Back on her archipelago, she is actually a princess. In Fodlan terms, she would be called heir to the throne.
I'm not sure if princess means something else in a different language. You know, other than interesting colloquial uses, I guess.
Hello, I am called Petra. I am pleased to be meeting with, I am pleased to have met you.
Okay, so, Mang's one of my favorite Fire Emblem YouTubers, made a very good point upon the first bits of dialogue with Petra. He was kind of expecting a little bit more of an accent to kind of hammer home the whole, you know, has trouble speaking our language thing. But he makes a good point where it seems like, okay, the voice actor just is kind of reading it normal, and you don't really have the whole weird difficulties in speech. Now, granted, Petra has been here for a few years at the very least, so I would say the accent would not be as much. Or maybe they just didn't want to go with the accent because they figured that would be offensive in some capacity. I don't know. Honestly, I would have preferred the accent. It would have been a little bit more fun, and it would also make the difficulty in speech make a little more sense if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going with that, but you get where I'm going with this. Let's go. I think we've talked to everyone here. Oh, nope. Almost missed one over here in the corner. Hi, Dorothea.
Aren't you just lovely? Is this your first time in the monastery? Shall I show you around?
That would actually be useful.
Oh, my name is Dorothea. Before I joined the academy, I was a member of an opera company in the Empire. You should hear me sing sometime.
That is something to keep in mind, I would believe. Alright, so looks like we have met the Black Eagles.
Hey!
And it looks like if we... go down here a little bit...
Hello.
Okay, there's Dimitri, so we're not going to talk to him just yet.
Okay.
We're going to go over here, which is, I assume, the Blue
This
Lion's
classroom
homeroom?
belongs to the Blue Lion House. Our house leader is Prince Dimitri. All of us here hail from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus.
So far, so good. Alright.
Hey.
Everyone spotted.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey there. Are you the mercenary who saved His Highness? It's an honor to meet you.
I find it interesting that they keep saying that, you know, we saved them. I honestly feel it's more like we all worked together, but maybe that's just me being pedantic, I guess.
I'm Sylvain Jose Gautier. Feel free to say hi whenever you like.
Kind of wonder if that would have been a different line if we'd been a female avatar. I don't know.
Hey.
Here we go.
Who's this? You don't look familiar at all. Do you work here?
I think you are the first person to assume that we work here instead of attending here, so points to you, Mercedes.
Oh, mercy. Do you think this is that mercenary people have been talking about? Now that I think about it, that does sound like something Dimitri may have said. I suppose you'll be enrolling at the Officers' Academy too, then?
Oh, so close, but we face-planted at the finish line.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Mercedes, and this is my best friend. I'm Annette. It's nice to meet you.
I'm gonna harp on this a little bit, but at the very least, they're all pleasant.
I have heard all about what you did from Prince Dimitri. As a citizen of Fargus, I thank you.
He also said you're quite skilled, and he doesn't just say things like that. I look forward to sparring with you and beating you.
Good luck.
Felix, must you always speak of fighting right away?
Well, that is one way that men solve their problems, or so I'm told.
Oh, and, you may call me Ingrid. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
And... nope, that's not an important person. There should be more. Dedu and Ash.
Hi there. You must be the one everyone's talking about. I'm Ash. Great to meet you. This here is Dedu. He serves Prince Dimitri.
I have heard that you rescued His Highness. Words cannot express my gratitude. Should you ever require my strength, please know that I will hasten to repay this debt.
One nice little touch I see, Dedu is quite a bit taller than us. If I remember in the roster, he is actually something on the order of about 6'6", whereas we are 170-something centimeters, which puts us around 5'10". Again, I'm not really good at doing the whole conversion from metric just off the top of my head, but Dedu is definitely over 200 centimeters, which puts him right in the, close to 6.5 feet category.
Okay.
So I like that they do have made him noticeably taller than us. I think that's everybody here. Let's check the map once again. It looks like we're missing somebody somewhere. But let's go over to the last room here, which I'm going to assume is for the Golden Deer.
The Golden Deer House is for students of the Leicester Alliance. Our house leader is heir to the Alliance's leadership, House Regan. We have plenty of other prominent nobles as well.
Okay, let's meet the students of the Golden Deer.
You must be the renowned mercenary who rescued Claude. Honestly, you should not have troubled yourself over the likes of him.
Okay.
My name is Lawrence Hellman Gloucester. You will want to remember it.
I probably will. Okay, oops. Over here. Hey.
Someone's guest? The dining hall's that way, if that's what you're looking for.
No, Raphael. That's Captain Gerald's kid. Hi, I'm Leonie Pinelli, Captain Gerald's first and greatest apprentice. I'm sure he's told you about me.
If he did, it was not part of anything that happened on screen yet.
Nice to meet you. I'm Raphael Kirsten. Who are you again?
I like his one-track mind, I gotta say. Nope, there's nothing there. Oh, here we go, more people.
Are you that mercenary? Everyone's been talking about you.
Really?
I'm Hilda Valentine Goneril, and her name is... Maryanne von Edmund. Are you joining the Knights of Saros or something? Well, I look forward to seeing more of you.
Hey, that's a nice little step up. They're thinking we're powerful enough to join the Knights as opposed to joining the Academy.
So you're the skilled mercenary who saved Claude, are you?
Oh, you are? It's such an honor to meet you. Ignatz Victor. My parents are Alliance merchants.
And I am Lysithea von Ordelia. Please do not forget it.
Let's see, I think that is, again, everybody for now.
What do you think?
Looks like there's something way over here at the back of the map.
Right, right.
So let's just speed on over.
Hello.
And we can't pet the dog. I mean, I'm not surprised by that at all, but I don't have business there yet. But who do I have here?
What do you want?
Yuritsa. Who is this person?
I am Yuritsa. I teach here. Weapon instruction. These are the training grounds. Goodbye.
Okay. That is good to know, but we can't go there yet. Okay, let's see. What else can we find, if anything? Let's go... What's in here? I think this is where we came from.
Yes.
The professor's rooms are on the second floor. So let's go to the second floor and see what's there. I mean, I am pretty sure we just came from there.
Hi.
Oh, no! We haven't been on this part of the second floor. So, let's see... Oh, this
I'm real
is...
busy, so could you please move along now? Thanks. Okay, now, what else did Lady Rhea need doing today? I'm real busy. Okay, now. I'm real busy. Okay.
Okay, I was just checking to see if there was a different dialogue box, but it looks like there's not. Hey, Dad! How's it going?
Here I am again, the office of the Captain of the Knights. That said, I'm merely here to assist. Apparently, the current captain is getting on in years. I hear the captain has a hard time keeping up with the responsibilities of the job. That's where I come in.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Anybody else in here? Nope. Okay. A few more rooms here. Let's turn this way. Ooh, the crest analyzer.
This is my research laboratory. I've worked hard to furnish it with the rare materials and purpose-built equipment required for my work.
That is a good question. What could this crest be?
This is my...
Okay, we already did that. And I believe it'll be Manuela across here.
Oh, Professor! Dropping by so soon? I expected we'd take some time, exchange a few smiles as we passed in the hall, flirt a bit, you know.
That's not what I was thinking, but okay.
Well, you're here now, and I do like a man who knows what he wants. Lock the door. Huh. That welcome didn't faze you at all, did it? What's the matter? Don't you like me? Or are you just so innocent you don't understand me?
Or maybe I've just been there and done that and seen some stuff on the battlefield, so, you know, that's why it doesn't faze me. Yeah, let's go with that. Anything here worth noting? Doesn't look like it. Alright, and there's one more person to seek out over here, it seems. Tomas.
Welcome to the library. Here you may find literature from the far reaches of Fodlan.
Ooh, this is something I will definitely look into on my own time because I kind of figure it's not going to be too exciting for...
I am Tomas, the librarian. If you have need of me, do not hesitate to ask. I have worked here for... I have lost track of the decades, it seems.
Well, it looks like we can't actually get in there just yet, so... I I guess we've actually found everything we need to here. Since I believe that top room is basically Rhea and basically where we began, but we can't actually get there from here. I was supposed to go this way. Oh, sorry, kitty. Did not mean to almost run into you. You were probably going to trip me anyway, because that's how cats work sometimes. I can say that because I've had cats. Oh, I guess it won't open until I actually do what I'm supposed to do. Or that's a back door. I don't know. But again, we're going to try and explore everything we can. We can't go past here.
A moment, please.
Well, it looks like we can't really do anything else other than talk to the house leaders at this point. But I'm going to check anyway. Can't go back. Alright, so yep. Looks like we have done everything we can. Now it is actually time to meet with the house leaders. Since Edelgard is right here, we'll start with her.
So, you've accepted a teaching position here. Pity. I was hoping you would lend your strength to the Empire. I never properly introduced myself, did I? My name is Edelgard von Hresvelg. I am the princess and heir apparent of the Adrestian Empire. I wonder if you'll be tasked with leading the Black Eagles.
A fair question.
I hope you've had a chance to meet everyone. Would you like to know more about any of the Black Eagles?
Well, we have met them personally, which is very important, but it's also kind of good to get their leader's perspective on things, especially if we're going to be commanding them or facing them in combat, which we probably will. So, yes, I would love to know more. Let's start with you, Edelgard.
Me? Well, some think I'm a bit distant, arrogant even, but there's little to be done. One day, I must rise to become Adrestia's next emperor. What else? Well, it seems to me that we may have similar personalities.
Okay, I will definitely go with that. So, as we can see, Edelgard here is pretty strong and reasonably balanced across the board for the most part. Definitely seems to have a lot of charm, so once we get to battalions and running gambits, she's probably going to become a good force there. She is strong with swords, axes, authority, and armor. Not so good with bows and what I believe is faith magic, if I'm reading that white book correctly. So, we're definitely gonna not want to square up with her in melee as much as possible, because she will probably wipe the floor with us if we don't know what we're doing. Thankfully, we do know what we're doing. Trust me, I'm a professional. Let's see. Ooh, we can swap the display. Oh. And that's basically just, zooms in.
Me? Well, what else?
Okay. Well, that just asks about her. Let's move on. Hubert.
Hubert is the heir of Marquis Vestra. He has served me since I was a child. You may think his blood runs a bit cold, but actually that's rather accurate. Still, if you can get past that, you'll see he's quite astute and reasonable.
Pretty solid there, especially in terms of magic and resisting magic. So he, kind of the opposite of Edelgard, we're going to want to get in close and whack him. Strong with bows, strong with reason magic, strong with authority, not so much with axes, faith magic, and flying. So more than likely he's going to end up as a mage, and we're going to have to deal with that at some point if we're not on his side. Alright.
For some reason, he thinks of me as a bitter rival and is always trying to challenge me. It's terribly irritating.
Huh. Seems like he is pretty competitive.
His house is that of Duke Ire, which produces Adrestia's prime ministers. That family is, perhaps, too pleased with its own status.
Sounds like a bit of mistrust there. I wonder if that's going to come into play at some point. Either way, Ferdinand is pretty balanced across the board, doesn't seem to stand out in any particular area, except for the fact that he doesn't really have any weaknesses. He's strong in all the basic weapon types and riding, so he is probably going to end up a cavalier, and that's pretty gonna be a safe bet, I think. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say. He's not super remarkable, but he's useful in the fact that he's pretty reliable and dependable. He's not going to completely dominate in one thing, but he'll be good in a good number of areas. Except maybe resisting magic, but, you know, not a lot of people are good at that. Alright, Sleepy Boy!
He's remarkably intelligent, but he only wishes to apply himself to tasks that particularly interest him, and nothing else. He's also fond of, well, napping. If he had any work ethic or sense of duty to speak of, I suppose he would be destined to become an official of the Empire.
And with that stat line and strong in faith and reason, he is destined to become a mage of some sort. Kaspar!
He's the second son of Count Bergliez. He has no inheritance in his future, which is perhaps why he's always so eager to prove himself. He's overly energetic and rushes headfirst into any battle. If he ends up in your care, be sure to keep a close eye on him.
Or I think he'll get to a point where we basically don't need to teach him, we just need to aim him at something. Plenty strong and plenty lucky on top of that. Strong in axes and fists, so he's definitely built to hit hard. Maybe not necessarily take hits, but we'll worry about that later.
She's Count Varley's only daughter. I suppose you could say she's a bit eccentric, but she seems like a gentle soul. I believe she's shut herself away in her quarters and doesn't care to leave, but don't worry, I'll make sure she finds her way to class.
There's definitely got to be some hidden talent somewhere, though with stats across the board and a lot of weaknesses, it's going to be a little difficult to figure out. Strong at lances and bows, doesn't have a particular weakness for magic, so maybe it's going to be something along those. Or possibly even flying, who knows.
Few commoners have joined the Black Eagle House, but Dorothea is an exception. She's a songstress from a famous opera company in the Empire. I'm not entirely sure what brought her to the Officers' Academy.
Oh, that could be something we could look into lately. Another instance of a Black Eagle student with very good magic off the bat, as well as good resistance, so another someone who's possibly destined to use magic, especially with being strong in reason. We'll see.
She's a songstress.
Meant to hit me there, my bad.
To the west of Fodlan is an archipelago called Bridget. Petra is the granddaughter of their king. Bridget is a vassal state of the Empire, which is how she came to be enrolled here. She's incredibly smart and studious.
Well, with high strength and even better speed, this is obviously going to be someone who's going to follow the Myrmidon Swordmaster path. Being strong in swords is definitely along with that, but axes, bows, and flying? Hey, that's possibly pretty good there too. You could probably do quite a bit with her, and not gonna lie, I would probably want someone like her on my team. If you have people with good speed, you have quite a good number of options, even if their other stats are not super great. Thankfully, Petra's other stats are at least good. And that will do it. Cool, so that is a nice little detailed assessment of the Black Eagles. Let's go meet up with the other leaders. I meant to hit the B button there. Alright, Claude's here, so we'll go with him.
Well, scored a teaching gig here, did you? Talk about a great first impression. I guess that means I'd better introduce myself properly. I'm Claude Von Regan. I'm from the ruling house of the Leicester Alliance, but don't worry too much about all that madness. I'm guessing you don't know which class you'll be teaching yet, do you? I bet you'd like ours. We're not as difficult as the other two. Have you met the folks from the Golden Deer House yet? Care to know more about anyone?
I am honestly intrigued to know exactly how Claude precedes the members of his house. So let's find out!
Piqued your interest, have I? As luck would have it, I'm pretty curious about you as well. But what's life without a bit of mystery? Let's just spend the next year or so learning about each other little by little.
Yeah, you'll notice Claude didn't really say a whole lot about himself there. Now, statistically speaking, Claude's pretty nice. Good strength, good dexterity, good speed, good charisma. He's pretty good and solid across the board. So, he will be a very fearsome opponent or a very good ally. Who knows which? I don't even think he does yet. Or maybe only he does. Who knows?
He's the heir of Gloucester territory. If you haven't already picked up on it, he's a bit arrogant and fancies himself a ladies' man.
I kinda did pick up on that, yes.
That said, deep down he's really devoted and honest. Though I wouldn't mind never hearing him talk about his noble obligations ever again.
Yep, you can see just from lines like this why Claude probably has the most quote-unquote character out of the three lords. Anyway, Lorenz is pretty well balanced, and that defining ability, which gives him 2 extra damage when he's in formation with a battalion, is pretty solid. Basically just means as long as he has a battalion, he's gonna do 2 extra damage, and 2 extra damage is never a bad thing.
He comes from a merchant family, but his parents died in an accident. Seems like he's had a rough life. Despite all that, he's just about the most cheerful guy you'll ever meet. His passions are training, eating, and actually that's about it.
And with strength that high, his other passion is smashing things until they don't get back up. The sad thing is, he's probably not so good with anything else except maybe taking hits, but hey, with strength that good, you could probably afford to just, go on offense. And honestly, he just seems like a good dude.
He's the second son of a merchant family. Since his brother will inherit the business, he's training to become a knight. If you ask me, it doesn't seem like he truly wants to be a knight. He's probably just doing it to please his parents.
Another thing that shows you that Claude can be pretty perceptive. Ignatz is kind of balanced across the board. Again, that ability is pretty nice, just an automatic plus 20 to hit. Probably good, especially if he uses non-accurate weapons like bows, which he is strong in. So, it could be useful. It's probably not going to be as useful later in the game, I would assume, but, that's just from what I noticed from patterns from reading a lot of Fire Emblem LPs. Alright, Lysithea.
Lysithea is the daughter of Count Ordelia, and is probably the youngest student here.
As we've already established in the last video, she is one of the youngest students at the very least. There is someone else who's at the age of 15.
But watch out, she gets angry if you treat her like a child. As for, I do it on purpose. You have to make your own fun in this place,
Well, hopefully Claude has a good reason for doing that as opposed something other than just fun. Either way, Lysithea is kind of destined to be a good mage just because that stat line is very high, and skill and speed are okay, everything else, not so much. Strong in both forms of magic and authority, weak in the basic weapon types and armor. So, yeah, we can kind of see where it's going to go from here.
Maryanne is Margrave Edmund's daughter. And that's pretty much all I know about her. She doesn't interact much with other students, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of folks here have never even heard her speak.
Well, I've at least heard her speak, so that's something, I guess. Either way, Maryanne is also kind of on the path to being a mage, but has a little bit more balance and utility than Lysithea does. Strong with swords, strong with faith magic, strong with riding, and strong with flying, so she's going to be very mobile no matter what we give her. And unit recovers up to 20% of max HP at the start of each turn when adjacent to a cavalry or flying ally. So people have wondered if that's going to apply if she herself is the cavalry or flying ally. By the wording of the skill, I don't think so, but that's something we will have to see at a different time. I'm going to assume it's probably not, though, considering since she is strong in riding and flying, you naturally want to make her a cavalry or flying unit. And that would just be, a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for, overpowered? Okay, maybe not super overpowered, but you get where I'm going with this. Anyway, Hilda.
Hilda is the only daughter of Duke Goneril. It seems her father and brother coddle her quite a bit. If you look up lazy in the dictionary, her picture won't be there because she never got around to submitting it. Not too unusual for a noble, I guess.
Odd, I didn't really get that impression from her when I spoke with her. Either way, Hilda's another unit that is relatively balanced across the board. Couple of good strengths, couple of not so great weaknesses. Adjacent allies deal 3 extra damage during combat. Pretty nice. Not really a whole lot to say here. I like the design, though. And Leonie.
Leonie enrolled because she wants to be a mercenary. I think she said that her father is a hunter. She's pretty blunt and as stingy as they come. A habitual saver, too. I think she's hoping to repay her village for helping to send her here.
One of those facts that you kind of have to get to know somebody to really determine. Either way, Leonie doesn't balance across the board, but balance in all the ways that count. Strength, dexterity, speed, luck, which is not super important, and defense. So, more than likely going to be a little bit more on the melee-focused side, but there could be potential for magic there. We would just have to see how things play out. And that is going to do it for the Golden Deer. Now, last but not least, let's head over to Dimitri and learn a bit more about the Blue Lions. As I said, more than likely I'm going to be picking this house.
My apologies for the other day. You came to our aid, yet I hadn't even the courtesy to properly introduce myself.
Okay, actually hit A little too quickly there. So as I said before, more than likely I'm going to pick this house, but it's still good to know the competition, as it were.
I am Dimitri Alexandra Blaiffid, Crown Prince of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus.
Oh, it's Alexandra. I wonder if that's also the same way the Brazilian singer Alexandre Pires pronounces it. I have to look that up.
Of course, at the Academy, I am simply a student. And I've heard word that you are to become a professor here. Delightful news. I still have much to learn, but I'm confident I could benefit greatly from your guidance. In any case, welcome to the monastery. I hear you're investigating the different houses here. Did any of the Blue Lions catch your attention?
Yes. Right, starting with Dimitri.
Oh, please forgive me. It's difficult to open up on the spot, don't you think? I'm afraid my story has not been a pleasant one. I do hope that doesn't color your view of me, but I understand if that can't be helped.
Spoken like someone who has definitely seen some things. Either way, Dimitri, like the other two lords, is pretty strong across the board and will be pretty decent no matter where we plonk him. He is more than likely destined to be a lance specialist, but we can also give him swords and we can also give him authority. So we can do pretty much anything we want with him. More than likely he is going to be our designated lance guy though, because if I remember correctly, the other Blue Lions, well, we don't really have a whole bunch of lances among them, and axes are what we're going to need most. We may end up having Beleth do that. Well, we'll worry about that if we decide to go with this house. Moving on.
Dedu was born in Dusker, and has been loyally working in my service for the past 4 years. He's rather taciturn, but once you get to know him, you'll see he's a kind and good-natured young man.
Now, the astute among us will know that in the last video, there were some notes about a tragedy of Dusker, of which Dimitri was the sole survivor. So there's obviously something between the two of them that is not being said or is probably going to come up into play later. But who knows? Either way, Dedu's main job is to hit things hard and take hard hits. He is strong with all the basic... Okay, I take it back. He's not strong with all the basic weapon types. He's strong with lances, axes, brawling, and heavy armor, and weak with faith magic, riding, and flying. Well, I guess when you're, something on the order of 6'6", you might be a little bit too tall for a horse, and definitely too tall for a Pegasus or a Wyvern. But, he's going to be solid on foot. He's going to be an immovable wall. We hope, anyway.
Felix is the heir to House Fraldarius. He has a bit of a sharp tongue, but don't let that fool you. Deep down, he's a good guy. He gravitates toward people who are skilled. Perhaps you would enjoy a friendly competition with him sometime.
I definitely would enjoy a friendly competition with him sometime. So, like Petra, Felix is more than likely going to be going down the Swordmaster path, being strong on swords, and having good strength and speed, not quite as much dexterity, but his defining ability is probably what's going to swing things either way. He's going to deal 5 extra damage when he doesn't have a battalion or when the battalion is defeated. So that makes up a little bit for having low skill, plus if you go down the Swordmaster path, swords are pretty accurate anyway. So Would Petra be better than Felix? Actually, I think they both kind of serve niche roles. Petra can be a little bit more of a finisher with her ability, whereas Felix can be a little bit more useful in general. Really, it's kind of a your mileage may vary situation. That is one of the things I like about all the houses. They're relatively balanced. There's not one house that's clearly better than the others, so it's really kind of just a matter of taste. You can figure out a way to win with anything you have. And, well, that's my job to do, find a way to win with whatever I have.
He's the adoptive son of Lord Lonato of Castle Kaspar, but I hear he was born a commoner. He has an extremely earnest personality, so I'm certain he will approach your lectures with great enthusiasm.
Now this right here is the kind of student I would probably really love to have, or would probably like really annoy me after a short amount of time, but more than likely would really love to have. As someone who enjoys teaching, I also really want people who are going to be involved and people who want to learn. You know, it's no fun teaching someone who's just going to sit there and kind of stare off into space, not participate, you know, make it look like they're only being there because they're being paid to do it or they have to do it or whatever. Somebody who is a lot more involved in things is probably going to pick up a lot more, and it's going to be a much more rewarding experience. One of the good axioms of teaching is to teach is to learn twice, and when you teach someone who's involved, you're probably going to learn something from them too. That's part of the reason we're actually going through all of this, to learn more about the characters. One, because this helps us learn more about the characters and figure out their strengths, their weaknesses, what makes them tick. Two, it's fun for me personally. And three, it just kind of actually harkens back to that very same axiom I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach you guys what little I know, and I'm probably going to learn more on top of that. Anyway, that's me just talking a lot. Ash is pretty balanced across the board. Strong in axes and bows, not so great with reason magic. Stat-wise, he could probably fit any role we need him to. Since he has the ability Lockpick, he is going to be a good utility character, especially if we don't have anyone who turns out well enough to be a thief who fits that role. So he can be the good backup in that regard. So he's got a place on the team no matter what. Well, I don't mean no matter what, but he's got a place on the roster, we should say. There's uses for him.
Sylvain is the heir to House Gautier. He is a capable person who highly values his friends. That said, well, he's always been a bit of a skirt chaser, so to speak. Pardon my bluntness. I speak with him about it often, but it doesn't seem to help.
As long as he's being, you know, not too forward with it, as long as he's not actually, like, seriously offending people or creeping them out, there is nothing wrong with being a skirt chaser, in my opinion. It's one of those things that you will probably, you know, do a lot when you're a kid and grow out of it in time. At least I'd like to think so. Anyway, he is another person who has stats that are a little bit closer to being, you know, a sword master, but is more strong with lances, axes, and riding. So he'll make a pretty decent cavalier and have that good mobility going. Pretty balanced. I like him. Alright,
I hear she
prosthetics.
was born to imperial nobility, but a twist of fate brought her to the kingdom. She may seem carefree on the surface, but she's actually a kind soul who pays careful attention to everyone around her.
So this is another person who is more than likely predestined to become a mage, mostly because she is not particularly talented in weapons or armor, but she is talented in both sides of magic. That initial magic stat, very nice. That initial resistance stat, really nice. What kind of makes her stand out a little bit more for me is that the other stats are not too weak by comparison. So worst case scenario, she probably could actually take a physical hit and survive. Crazy. And that defining ability would make her a very solid healer, so more than likely you're going to have people make her a healer for that rule. Now, I'm a little bit of a divided opinion. You know, your healer should not be taking fire to begin with, but this is going to be nice in the rare occasion that she does, because she'll heal someone else and heal herself for the same thing. So I'm all for efficiency like that.
Annette is Baron Dominic's niece. She is a talented student who scored extremely high marks at the Royal School of Sorcery. She's cheerful and hardworking. Brilliant, really. Though she can be a bit oblivious at times. I hear she caused an explosion in the kitchen last night.
Okay, I move we stop talking about students and hear a little bit more about this story. Causing an explosion in the kitchen, that sounds like fun. Anyway, another one along the magic side, probably not quite as typecast as Mercedes is, since she also is strong with axes and authority. But again, good solid magic, not so good at taking magical hits, and dexterity and speed are also there, so she could go either way. And
Ingrid is
last,
Count
but
Galatea's
most certainly
daughter.
not least,
She is also a childhood friend of Felix, Sylvain, and myself. She is diligent, industrious, and principled. In truth, she is more knightly than most knights you will ever meet.
a very good, solid thing. Stat-wise, pretty solid across the board. No particular standouts, except for the fact that she has no weaknesses. We can give her swords, we can give her lances, we can put her on a horse, we could put her on a Pegasus, and she will be fine pretty much no matter what. One thing we definitely have to do is get her involved in gambits, since she will grant extra might and extra hit with those, which is going to be very useful. Alright, so that is it. We have met the entire class of 1180. And we can see as such by the little pop-up here that informs us that the quest has been completed. So, okay, this pop-up that says it's completed. Alright, I suppose I should return to Rhea. We're gonna continue exploring. Mostly because I want to make sure I can actually find my way back to where we were going before.
Hello.
So the stairs that we need to take are going to be right over here. At least I think these are the stairs we would need to take. Yeah, it's the only set of stairs, so I cannot imagine a situation where this would not be the set of stairs we wanted to take. And the door should actually be open. Ah, there we go. That's the prompt we were looking for. I suppose I should return to Rhea. Okay, let's officially return to the audience chamber now.
How are you enjoying your time at the Academy thus far? I hope you have found our halls brimming with the vitality of well-intentioned souls.
I guess that's one way of putting it.
I suppose it is time for you to take charge of one of our 3 houses of students. I must note that I am personally against entrusting someone as lacking in trackable history as yourself with such a task. But it is as the Archbishop desires.
Which is probably good, because this is not Fire Emblem passive background check, after all.
The Black Eagles, the Blue Lions, and the Golden Deer. All so different. I hope you've made it a point to get to know each of them.
Since you are new here, we have decided to allow you first pick. Manuela and I will take charge of the remaining 2 houses.
Now, I kind of wonder what the actual canonical selections are in this case. I mean, I'm assuming since we're giving Belette the first pick, there actually isn't, but I could sort of see Manuela taking charge of the Black Eagles. I'm not exactly sure where Hanneman would fall. In fact, I could actually see him taking charge of the Black Eagles as well, since he is researching the crests. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if there is any literature on that subject, but that's something I'll look up on my own time. Which house will I choose? Alright, so it is time to make the big decision. Do we go with the Black Eagle House of the Adrestian Empire, which is a house for students from the Adrestian Empire? Many are nobility, and most of them use magic. Do we go with the Blue Lions from the Holy Kingdom of Fergus, who mostly value chivalry and excel in military arts? Or do we go with the Golden Deer of the Leicester Alliance? As per regional tradition, many are skilled archers. Well, I actually didn't really get an impression that most of them were skilled archers. But I'm sure most of them actually used bows now that I think about it. So, basically, house magic, house martial arts, house ranged. Actually, wait, no. Let me try that again. House magic, house melee, house ranged. Makes sense? Makes sense. So, one of the reasons I have been a little bit on the fence with my decision is because honestly, every house has good points and bad points, and every house has really good characters in it. You know, I could easily see myself leading any of these teams throughout the game and having a good time with it, just getting to know everybody, seeing how things play out, all that jazz. But, as I said, I think I'm going to go with the Blue Lions, because blue is one of my favorite colors, and a good chunk of the playthroughs I've seen have either been with Edelgard or with Claude. So I kind of think that the Blue Lion House doesn't get as much love as it might. At the very least, you know, I already know at least one meme page exists for the Golden Deer. I think there's one for Edelgard, but I'm not sure, whereas I've not really seen anything for the Blue Lions. So we're going to give them a little bit of love, plus I trust military might kind of above the other two as a good balance. I do want more magic and I do want archery, but this is a good base to build off of, and I am all for good foundations. We're doing this.
So you have chosen the Blue Lions led by Dimitri, correct?
Yes.
Your heart has made its choice then. All I ask is that you guide these open minds with virtue, care, and sincerity.
They are all promising youths who bear the weight of Fodlan's future upon their shoulders. I hope you appreciate what an honor it is to lead them.
And this reminds me of the set of orders on an Honor Harrington book whenever you take command of a new ship. Something about, you know, fail at your own peril or something like that. It's definitely a weight.
Brother? Oh, I am so sincerely sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
And the gravitas of the scene has been interrupted by a cute little kid. Which, now that I think about it, is kind of an interesting trope in its own right.
I'm in the middle of something, Flame. Is it urgent?
No, it's nothing. More importantly, who is this?
This is our newest professor at the Academy.
Oh my! A new addition to the Officers' Academy! I am so very pleased to meet you, Professor. I am Sedith's little sister, Flame. I am so happy to make your acquaintance.
Let us focus on the topic at hand. There is something you should be aware of.
And after the little pleasant distraction, it is immediately back to business.
In a few days' time, there will be a mock battle between the three houses, intended to gauge the current progress of the students.
Ooh.
We will be using this battle as an opportunity to ascertain your own abilities as well. Please do not disappoint the Archbishop. That is all.
Okay. So it looks like...
Wait, does this mean our new professor is... No, I really can't believe it! But I was speaking to you so casually, as though we were companions.
Even though there is a professor-student relationship here, that's okay. On the battlefield, we are all more or less equal. I consider myself the first among equals. We'll hash that out later.
Oh, I am so sorry, Professor. You just look the same age as the rest of us, and... Oh, and I'm sorry I just said that too. I really must watch my tongue.
I really don't mind if you treat me as a friend.
You say that, but I just don't know about all of this.
This is all new for everybody. It's gonna take some getting used to. Don't sweat it.
I'll admit, it doesn't sit well with me either. After all, we wish to show you due respect.
Sure, but if the professor says it's okay, shouldn't that be enough? That is, if your highness can consent to such a thing. After all, we're already speaking this way to our future king, so we may as well relax our speech with our professor too, right?
Honestly, if the alternative is a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of formality, and just kind of need to get that formality out before we can actually get any business done, yeah, I'd rather cut out the formality.
Well, we're not in the kingdom, so it only goes to follow that we should all speak companionably.
Actually, let me rephrase that. Formality will have its place on the battlefield where we need more concise reports. So, yeah, on the battlefield, when we're on the clock, formal. Times like this, just be relaxed. You know, we can't be wound up like a clock all the time here.
I concede. If the professor says it's fine, we ought to accept that kindness gratefully.
As for me, I'm not sure I can manage.
You don't have to force yourself if it's too difficult. You're fine with that too, right, Professor?
I am absolutely fine with that. Whatever is most comfortable for you in the times that we are supposed to be comfortable.
Having heard of your skills, I'm eager to meet you in battle.
Likewise.
Come to the training ground later. There, show me what you're capable of.
You aren't wasting any time, are you, Felix? As it were, count me in for any such battle.
Pardon me, but I would also love to observe you in battle for future reference, if that's okay with you.
Ash, I won't have you speak of merely watching. You should join us as well.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
If you get injured, simply say the word and I'll patch you up straight away.
Your Highness, do take care not to go overboard.
You worry too much to do. I'll be fine, I promise.
My companions, is there not something inherently wrong with crossing blades as a way to bond with each other?
There is not something inherently wrong with crossing blades as a way to bond with each other. You have a little bit to learn about what makes guys tick, Sylvain. Maybe you should stop focusing on chasing skirts a little bit and spend some time with the boys, you know what I mean?
Huh, I never thought of it that way. Well, if that's how you feel, I suppose you'll just stay behind while the rest of us are at the training ground?
Ingrid, my dearest friend, you really are too harsh on me.
Well then, Professor, what do you think? As you can see, the Blue Lion House is a lively bunch, but you'll find none who work harder.
Honestly, seeing this scene right here, which is actually the first time I've seen it, I think I made the right choice.
I'm certain we'll cause our fair share of trouble, but I'm very much looking forward to the year ahead.
You know what, Dimitri? Me too, man. Me too. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure we actually got this particular tutorial, but now it's just something while the loading screen is up, I guess. Huh. So we can actually control the little Beleth, which I now realize is Commoner Beleth, on the loading screen. Alright, we actually have the calendar up. There are new places to explore in the monastery, so hey, looks like we have something to do for next video, most likely. Received 1,000 gold from the Church of Saros as funding for this month's activities. This month is going to be over soon, but okay, I'm not going to say no to free gold. And something has happened here on the 26th.
Say, while you're here, I'd like to use this device I designed to determine whether the power of a crest resides within you. Won't hurt a bit. Promise. You don't know about crests? Well, allow me to tell you everything, absolutely everything about them. Is your calendar clear? This will take a while.
Well, I will admit I'm curious.
Crests are a fascinating topic, but before one can dive deeply into said topic, one must first understand what crests are. They are power incarnate. They are said to have been bestowed upon humans by the goddess countless ages ago. They exist within the flesh and are passed down through bloodlines. Those who carry crests may excel at magic, display exceptional strength, or any number of boons. Each crest has its own power, the nature of which is beyond mortal understanding. For now.
I admit, I like this explanation. It actually does kind of sell Panemon as a teacher based off of that. Well explained, well done. 10 points. And you believe I have a crest? Well, we kind of actually did see that.
I suspect as much, yes. But we won't know for sure unless I look into the matter. As I said, crests are passed down through the blood. However, just because someone carries a crest does not necessarily mean their descent inherited as well. Only a scarce few descendants of a crest's bloodline end up inheriting that crest's power. Perhaps one of your ancestors bore a crest, and you just happen to inherit it.
This is actually an interesting point, because there is one student, I believe Sylvain, who was part of a noble family, and his older brother actually got disinherited because he didn't have a crest. So that's a thing.
That is how a crest usually presents itself, after all.
Now granted, I could be wrong about which student there is, but I do distinctly recall, yes, one student had an older brother who was disinherited for their lack of a crest. You know, makes you wonder if Edelgard has a point, if you know what I mean. Well, yeah, I want to find out, because this is kind of important. What we know about the crests already is that they are said to be descended from the 10 heroes of Fodlan, so this is good stuff to find out.
Yes, of course. I'll get to the bottom of it straight away.
And also, you know, it scores us some points with Hannah.
Now then, please go ahead and hold out your arm over this device here. What is this?
It's the design on my chest.
Pattern I've never seen before. Is it possible an as yet undiscovered crest has been detected? To think there are still crests out there that even I am unaware of. How thrilling!
So, the first explanation that really sold me on Hannah as a teacher, this one sells me on him as someone who obviously really wants to research this subject. Just look at that expression. He is going to geek out at a moment's notice right now.
Pardon my unrestrained jubilation. I have much to consider. You may leave now.
Or, you know, he's gonna compose himself and tell us to leave the room so he can geek out in private.
I have
also
more research to do in regard to this crest. Yes, so very much more research. But for now, work here is done. What could this line here be indicating? Perhaps it represents a lack of symmetry. Or perhaps... What in the world? Oh, I see. It may be connected to that, but to a greater degree than usual.
Or he is going to turn around and just geek out right now. Also cool.
With each moon, professors of the Officers' Academy receive a schedule for the month ahead. It notes the days on which events and missions will take place that month. Pay careful attention to your schedule, so that you may thoughtfully plan what you intend to do each month, and when.
Alright, one more tutorial here. The calendar. The Monastery Schedule features different events on different days. Each week you will have one day off, when you may choose an activity from the list. Your only option at first will be Explore, so we can't get to teaching anybody just yet. Select the calendar with the directional buttons to view the schedule. Now what's the other stuff about the calendar here? We can't actually see it yet. Okay, that's a little odd, but okay. So as you can see, we can't select Seminar, we can't select Battle because there's nothing going on. We can rest and actually get everybody's motivation up, which is useful for other things later. Alright, so we can see over here on the 30th, that is when the house rivalry battle is going to take place. Definitely something to pay attention to. Oh, Rescue at Dawn, that was... So it's been a week since we actually met Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude there, if this calendar is anything to go by. What is this over here? Oh, it's a holiday. Good to know. Okay. Now, what's the statistics thing here? Statistics cannot be accessed because online play is... Oh, okay. So that's for seeing what people have done over the course of the day. Alright. So, at this point, we've kind of been going for quite a while. In fact, yeah, we've been recording for a little over an hour at this point, so I didn't mean to go that long, but honestly, getting to know characters and getting to know motivations and things like that, that's just, you know, amazingly... I wouldn't say amazingly fun for me, but that's something I personally go for, and that's why RPGs and strategy games, including Fire Emblem, really do speak to me. But that being said, we've gone quite a way, so let's go ahead and bring it in for right now. If you've stuck through this whole thing, thank you very much for watching. I hope you were able to get something out of it, and otherwise, thank you for just putting up with me geeking out over characters and teaching and things like that. Probably won't have a whole lot of action next time because we will have a little bit more exploration to do and probably some quests to do, but we are getting ever closer to our first taste of action as a professor at Garreg Mach Monastery and as the new headmaster of Blue Lion House. So hopefully we're going to have a lot more action-packed stuff going on later on, but that is all for now. Until next time, take care, y'all.